it's Tammy from Frou-frou Studio, and welcome back to my channel. This is take 2 of this video. I started it earlier, and I was going to babysit my grandsons today, and I started the video and they showed up, and so I had to stop it, and so I think it'd be easier just to start over than try to pick up where I was. So today what I'm going to work on is I have this journal kit from Bohemian Crafting, and it is a 4th of July kit, and it is, to get down through my stack here, I've gone through and fussy cut everything out. It is more of a historical looking kit. It's got a lot of old 4th of July advertising and photos of DC and signing of the Declaration of Independence, and a lot of historical pictures with biographies on the back. That one doesn't have a biography on the back, I don't think. Nope. These do. And things like that. And so I want this particular journal to look old. And this is what I'm going to use for the cover, which is also in the kit. And as you can see, it's tall and skinny, kind of like they would have folded documents back in the old days. And so I thought that would be kind of cool. It's not going to have a lot of pages in it because it is something for the 4th. And so if you did journal in it, you know, you wouldn't be journaling in it very long, mostly about what you did for the holiday or whatever. So I'm not going to worry about putting a lot of pages in it. But what I wanted to concentrate on today is aging and, you know, making something that's not old, that you printed out on your printer, look old. So that's what we're going to focus on. The first thing that I did was to make some tape, and I made it look old, and I followed the process by Nick the Booksmith, and I will link her video in the description box. But basically it is just taking some tape and applying alcohol ink to it to give it that old yellowed look, because, you know, old tape was not acid free, and so it yellowed over time. And so what I tried to recreate here is that yellowed looking tape. I did not have any skinny tape like this, like Scotch tape that was shiny. This is the satin, you know, or invisible tape. And then I took packing tape, because it does have that shiny look to it, and I did some of that, figuring that I could just cut strips, you know, as I needed them. I've put down the tape on some deli paper so that it will peel off real easy, and the sticky would remain on the back. And then what I did to do this is I used alcohol inks, and these are Ranger alcohol ink, and I used butterscotch and the latte, and then just took my, you know, felt dauber and put the ink on the tape itself, and then just kind of pounced it around, you know, with the 2 colors. And then I gave it spritz. I spritzed it with alcohol, and then, you know, dabbed it again and let it dry. And it is not sticky. It is perfectly dry. And I'm gonna now, you know, store these, and I'll have them to use. And I wasn't sure, like I said, about the satin tape, because of Nick had used the shiny in hers, but I really like the way it turned out. And then here is, you know, a piece that I cut off each one. This is the satin tape, and this is the shiny packing tape, and I think they both work really well with getting that old aged look. So I was real happy with the way those came out. So that was my first step. The second step is, part of the kit is a copy of the Declaration of Independence. And I did this in the first part of the video, but basically what I did is just took my tear ruler and tore around all the sides just to get, and I didn't worry about, you know, them being straight or anything like that. And then I took my Tim Holtz paper distresser and I just, you know, went down the sides to rough it up. Now, what I plan on doing with this and a few other sheets, and I'm going to go ahead and rough these edges off, is I'm going to, I want to put several sheets together that can be written on one side or another. But I want it to look, you know, like a deed packet or a packet of important papers. So I'm just going to take a few sheets of different digitals that I have and do that. This is not a part of this 4th of July kit from Bohemian Crafting. It is from another group that I got, and it's called Vintage Invoices, but I will have to look up who it's from because I can't remember off the top of my head. And then, so everything's not the same size, I have some, you know, little partial pieces that are going to be shorter in the sack. So how is everybody? I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I apologize for not posting my video yesterday. Yesterday we had someone here from the cable company and they were replacing our modem, upgrading our modem, and they decided while they were here that they needed to rewire some wires that we had, that the people that lived here before us basically had cable in every room. They had 3 children, and so they had cable wires running everywhere out of the main box, and we just don't have that now. We have 2 TVs that are hooked up to cable, and, you know, the guy was telling us that it was, you know, he wanted to go ahead and clean them up since he was here, and it would improve our internet, so he did that. And so he was here for, you know, a few hours doing all that, and so I didn't have any internet to do my video. Worried about that one. Let's do this one first. Sorry. I know ripping paper is so exciting to watch. See if I can grab it this other way. I don't think I can grab it this way either. Oh, maybe I can. Sorry if I'm a little bit off screen, but I need to get this top piece off here. There we go. And then this is just regular tea-dyed paper. I'm going to fold it in half. We're going to age that to put in our cover. Alright, so I know there's lots of videos out there for how to age paper and make it look old, and I'm just going to show you what I do. And It may or may not be different than something you've already seen, but this is just kind of how I do it. Oh, I've got a couple pieces of vellum, some stuff printed on vellum too, that I wanted to put in this. Let's see if I can tear it. And this is just printable vellum that'll go through your printer. It is hot here today. I feel so sorry for my hubby. He is suffering terribly today with his allergies, and so is my granddaughter, and I hated that for her because I was watching my grandson so they could take her shopping for her birthday, and she didn't even feel like shopping, which, as we all know, definitely means that she's not feeling good. Any girl that doesn't want to shop for her birthday. We need some rain to kind of wash down all the pollen and the yuckiness. Okay, and then that's going to go in the front. I may have to rip that one down just a little bit more. Don't really have any room though. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so this is what I am going to do. What I did on this little scrap envelope is I took some of my oxides, distress oxides, and I just squirted them with a little bit of water so I could see what they look like when they oxidized. And so I could decide what colors I wanted to use on what paper. It's always good to make yourself a little reference. And that way you can be sure that you're going to get the look that you're looking for and not some weird color or, you know, something weird happens that you don't like. And I'm going to grab my squirt bottle just for a minute because it's over on the other side. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is destroy this paper, kind of. I'm going to kind of tear off some of the edges, make some rips. Especially, you want to make it look like it's natural, you know, natural, like here where I'm going to fold it, maybe tear it a little bit, and then maybe when we get it all together, we'll use some of that tape to put it back together. Now this one I printed front and back because she had a front and back, and so it's got crease lines on the front. But I decided to fold it differently than what's on there, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. And then I'm going to ink it. For this particular one, I think that I'm going to use the walnut stain for the creases and some of the edges. So let's get that started. And we're going to do it, you know, just kind of randomly Don't try and do it, you know, solid across the page, because that doesn't give it, you know, a realistic look. You want it to be kind of random. Now, I know that my printer, in particular, if I wet something that comes off my printer, the text will fade. And so I have to be real careful when I'm using water to not put it where there's going to be something has printed on the page. Can't talk. So, alright, so there's the edges, and then I'm going to create some kind of folds and wrinkles just randomly. In the paper. You know, just something that would kind of happen over time. You can just do that with your fingers. And this is just regular 24 pound, I think it is, copy paper. There's nothing special about it. And then I'm going to take my vintage photo, because it's a lighter color, and I'm going to just barely brush over those areas that I crinkled up. And you'll see when I do that, it kind of brings those wrinkles out without, you know, making it unreadable or anything like that. But it kind of just makes those wrinkles stand out a little bit. So that's that. Now, I want to take, I think I'm going to use on this particular page, I think I'm actually going to use the old paper, and I'm going to make sure I don't have anything left on this. In the corners where I can spritz them without it getting on the actual text part, I'm gonna put just some of this around the edges. And then I'm going to real carefully with my, let me move this where you can see it. With my water, just drop some spritz here and there. Oops, I got that on the print, and I'm sure it'll run it, make it run. I might do some right in the middle here if I think I can get it. Now, to me, the old paper, when it oxidizes, has kind of a bluish green look, and I like that. I'm looking for my baby white, my dry baby white that I know is around here somewhere. It's what happens when my grandkids are here. Everything gets disheveled. Not in a bad way. just where we're playing, things get moved around. And now, you guys may not want it this distressed, and that's fine. You can, you know, limit what you want to do and make it look however you want to make it look. It doesn't have to be this exaggerated. Now I'm going to put you on pause for a minute, and I'm going to go dry it because I want you to see what it looks like when it dries. Okay, I'm back, and this is what we have, and what I forgot was this was printed on the back. So the oxidation that I got is a combination of the old paper and the ink, because it was printed on the back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blendy tool, and I'm going to go around the edges with Vintage Photo, and I'm going to kind of tone down that kind of blue looking color, because that blue looking color is the ink from where I printed. It's not so much the oxidation of the old paper ink. We'll just kind of tone those down just a tad so they don't look so blue. Or blue-green or teal, or I don't know what color you'd call that. But that's actually from the ink of the printer. And we can blend those down. Okay, so now we have a nice grungy Declaration of Independence. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is intentionally take my pokey tool, and I'm going to poke some holes in the document. Just random. Just kind of move it around a little bit. Make it look like it has holes in it. Like that. Okay, so pretty happy with that one. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how can she be happy? So now let's take a piece of our tape here. And repair a tear. So there's one. I don't really want to do the one on the seam because we're going to be folding it on the seam. So maybe that's all we'll do on there. So now we got our little repair. And we can now fold this up, and that'll be our first page in this little group. And of course it's still writable on the back. Alright, and you can see where I accidentally dropped water. We got the same instance going on here where the ink, where it hit the ink, and that one is still wet. We'll just kind of do this a little bit. Alright, so let's go back and do the edges with walnut stain. You want to pay particular attention to, you know, the edges and, you know, where the paper would normally get messed up. Just do a rip up here. Maybe tear a corner off there. Then on the back, we've got real issues because on the back of this one, it's not printed at all. But in this case, I cannot spray it with tea dye or anything like that because of my printer. Now, if you've got a printer that, you know, your ink won't run, then you can, of course, spray it with tea or coffee. And what I do in that circumstance is I use antique linen just to kind of give the paper some color. Take the white away. Antique linen is, you know, it looks like this. So it looks like a nice linen paper color. Then again, randomly going to trash it up. And maybe even use another piece of tape. And on this one, let's use the satin tape. I mean, this tape literally takes 5 minutes to make. There's that one. And I've got several more that I'm going to do the same way. And I won't put you through all that right now. I'll show you how I'm going to put it together, and then I can always go back and age it later. So just get your papers however you think you might want them to be in your little document folio, whatever you want to call it. Actually, I might want to put this one on top of this one. And actually, I might want to do something like that. So let's do this vellum one. Vellum's a little different. You can ink it, but it doesn't crinkle the same way, of course. And I don't think it has the same kind of effect in it when you use oxides on it, but we'll try it and see. We'll see. we'll just see what happens. Okay. Let's try. Let's do some tea stain on this one. See how that looks. See if I can get it. I'm going to try and put it just where there's no print. Try to keep it off my print as much as I can. This one is only printed one side, so we shouldn't have the bleed through. But I'm not sure how much the water's going to run. So this may be a total flop, but we're going to try. See what happens. Well, that's not too bad. It's kind of interesting. It takes it down to the white of the vellum. Not too awful. I'll take antique linen and kind of hit those white spots just a little bit so they're not so white. It does wrinkle a lot better when it's kind of damp. I will say that. Okay, so there's that one. Try that up before I stick something in there. Okay. Now, I'll put my book together like this, or my little pamphlet, and I'm going to put this piece. This is just a piece of oh, come on, parchment paper. And I guess we need to age that. Okay, we're going to fold it this way and fold it this way, so it looks kind of like it's going to hold some documents in it. Okay, so we definitely want to make the edges rough. to the walnut stain. Oh, no, that's finished photo. Again, I'm concentrating a lot on the corners of the paper. Let's cause some creases here. Couple little rips. And let's do some vintage photo. Random, and then spritz it. You see how it brings out the little crinkles and wrinkles that you put in the page when you just barely go over it? Okay, now let's give that a spritz. Let it set a minute. Now this is just plain paper that hasn't had anything done to it. So it doesn't have any kind of printing or anything like that on it. So we're not going to get anything except for the actual oxide reacting on this one. I have a hairdryer here that I will turn on to do this use the noise, but I'll try to do it really quickly instead of going to get my heat tool. Okay, sorry about that. I just did it as quickly as I could. So it's not to... Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. Alright, so we're going to put our documents in here. Like so. Try to get them lined up. I'm not worried about them being perfect, obviously. And like I said, I'll go back and distress those other ones too that I didn't do. I just didn't want to sit here and distress documents the whole time. Once you see it a couple of times, I think everybody can get it. Okay, and then I'm going to poke 2 holes in the top with my crocodile. And I'm going to use the small hole. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to paper fasteners or brads on the top. And I'm going to use the big ones. Not the Tim Holtz ones, but the actual big. Oh, I don't have any over here, do I? Thought I had two of the big ones over here, but I don't. Okay, we'll use these for the time being, but and I'm putting them from the outside in. And of course that one, all I know, got out of line there. Okay, Tammy, it's not rocket science here. There we go. I like how that's curling up on the edge. And then we're just going to fold it up and fold it down. And I do not see my bone folder over here. It's probably on the other side by my scoreboard. Like that. I think we need a little bit more. Just dressing along that crease. And there we go. We have our little document holder, and I think I'm going to put some string. Do I have? This is my little drawer of string and thread. Nope, it's not in here. Let me get my string over here. This is my vintage, just kind of cotton, just like a cotton string. So there we go. Cute little bundle in a, again, you can, make your papers as distressed as you want them, or you don't have to distress them at all, or You can just go crazy. It's really a matter of your own taste. I just thought I'd share kind of what I do, you know, when I'm making something really grungy. And share the tape, which I think is a really cool idea. And again, I'll link Nick's video in the description box, so you can go and watch her video as well. I don't know if you all ever watch her, but I think she is so entertaining to watch. I love to watch her videos. Okay, so now that we have that done and you can kind of see where we're going, I'm going to take a few minutes because, see, I'm going to put these in here like this. Just a few pages. I'll have to trim them down a little bit. And then we'll stick this in here somehow. And then we're just going to put our little historical pages in there. And I think that will be really cute. It would also be a really cool history project for somebody in school. Because, like I said, most of the things that are in this kit are historical looking. And how cool would that be to do a journal for a school project? I would so do it. History was my favorite subject, and I would do it in a second. Okay, next thing. Jodi, my friend, I received your Happy Mail yesterday, and I cannot tell you how much in love I am with this ledger paper. And someday I might come up with a project with this, but for now I can tell you without a doubt that it is going to Hoardsville. My husband brought this in yesterday, and I thought it was something that I'd ordered, and I was trying to rack my brain to figure out what in the world I had ordered that would come in this tube. I want you to look at these papers that she sent me. These are vintage ledgers from the 1800s from the Marine Bank of Buffalo, New York. And they are absolutely fabulous. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have these. And look how big they are. Look at that. And look at this handwriting. Jodi, my friend, I am in awe. And so not deserving. But I love them. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And like I said, someday they may go in a project. But for right now, I just want to look at them. They are so super cool. Look at that handwriting. I mean, don't you wish you could write like that on a daily basis? Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love them. Absolutely love them. So, I'm going to find a special place for them with my, I have a couple of ledgers that are not near this big or near this old, but I got them because I like the covers of them, and they're in Hoardsville as well, and these are going right in with that stuff that is going to be hard to part with, and it will sit here for me to admire for a very long time. So Jodi, thank you. Thank you for your support of my channel. And to all my subbies, thank you very much. You all are very kind. And I really, really, really appreciate the support. So, before I get all emotional, enough with that. I wanted to show you a couple other things. The other day we did the I Saw It on Pinterest episode, and we made the little journal topper with the denim, this And there is a video for this. It's in my playlist. I saw it on Pictures, episode 25, I believe. Well, I have been going crazy with Miss Lorna's kit of vintage photos, which is where this photo came from and all these photos that I used. And I have, this is what I was doing when I was watching my grandkids. And yesterday when the cable guy was here and I couldn't do anything else. And so I have made a ton of these that I'm going to be listing in my shop. And I just took, you know, vintage pieces of fabric that I had and some lace. Some of the fabric's not vintage, but all of the lace pretty much is. And then a lot of the smaller pieces are vintage. And I made these little journal toppers. You could also use them as inside a journal for like a journal card. If you planned ahead, because some of them, you know, do have some dimension because they have the buttons and so forth on them. But this is just a few of the ones that I was able to get through. So I wanted to show you those. I think they're all turned out just adorable with these pictures. Now, as far as the colors on the dresses, I did that with colored pencils, just regular colored pencils. And they're not pastels though, because if you put pastels on this, they're gonna smear. So if you do pastels, you're gonna have to spray it with some kind of fixative. But if you use colored pencils, it's fine and they won't smear. This one's probably my favorite. I don't know, this color combination is just getting me. And then we have this one. And we have this one that I think is also really cute. The blue and the green together. This one. This one. A little bit of yellow. I don't use yellow a lot, but I actually like the way this one turned out. This one. And last we have this one. So like I said, I will be listing all those in my shop. And the other thing that I did is I finished the Shakespeare journal. And I'll be listing it as well. Sorry if you can see my arms reaching there. This is it, and you can see it turned out really well. It's not a gator mouth. It does not have to have anything to hold it closed, which was my intent. But it is still, you know, a pretty thick and chunky little deal here. And it's real shabby chic looking. And you'll see I used a lot of washi tape and things like that to give this a kind of a repaired look to it. And there's a piece of the yellow tape. So I just think it turned out really cute as well. It's got a lot of vintage pages in it. There's some Edith Holden. My paper's sliding. Some music paper. There's a paper bag. It's got an actual old photo in there. And there are some pockets in, this is some faux washi that I made. I'll show you that in a second. Envelope. So it doesn't have a lot of pockets and things, but it does have, you know, some tucks and sticky places and envelopes and things like that. And then this was the book of Midsummer Night's Dream that I used the cover, and so I kept, you know, the inside page and made a journaling card out of it. So there's that. So I think that turned out cute. And then to show you the tape, where is it? Right here. Okay, this is what I made that I used in that book. And basically all I did for that was I took some vellum like this. It's just regular old vellum. And then I took my colored pencils. And I have 3 sets of colored pencils. These are by far my favorite though, and they're the Luminance. And they're by, I can never say that, Cardanoche, I think is how you say it. Hope you can see that. But these are my favorite ones. But like I said, I have several sets. And then basically all I did was draw a squiggly line down the vellum. And then, you know, I drew some leaves, just kind of alternating up the sides. And this is really easy. You don't have to, you know, spend a lot of time doing this. Kind of like that. And then you draw your flowers, and you can do those however you want, or whatever color you want, or whatever. And you know, just do something that resembles a flower. I did these watching TV. It's a really good, easy thing to do while you're watching TV, because you can, you know, just make several of them going up the side. I wouldn't normally do this rush, but I'm trying to not bore you to death. But basically doodles is what you're doing. Okay, and then after you do that, get my pencils out of the way here. You're going to take double-sided tape, and you're going to run a piece along the back. Like that. And then cut it along the tape. And when I first started, I had a couple that I made too wide. But once I got started, I kind of, you know, had in my mind how wide to make it. And so, but if you do it too wide and you have to cut it off, it's not that big a deal. So that's what you end up with. And then, whenever you get ready to use them, you just decide how much you're going to use. Let's see. Let's put it on this tag. And cut it off. And then peel the back off. And stick it on. And because it's vellum, you'll be able to see, you know, whatever's behind it. And you can see it doesn't smear. again, you wouldn't want to use pastels because pastels would smear. And then you have your little border. And you can see I did several different flower patterns to use. So there's you another project to try. I had seen people do this before. I know Rachel with Roxy Creations does it a lot, but she uses markers, and I wanted something softer than a marker, and so I thought I'd try it with my pencils, and it works great. So there you go. That's a lot of information that in one video, but I hope you picked up something that you didn't know and that you can use for your future projects. And I think that's going to do it for today, and I will be back to do Marguerite Miller in the next video, and I hope until then everybody continues to stay safe and stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Jodi, again, thank you so much, and to all my subbies, thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and please leave comments or a thumbs up if you like my content. If I look at the analyticals on my video, it gives me a good idea of what kind of videos you all like to see. So it will allow me to you know, do the videos that you want to see, and not you know, stuff you're not interested in or don't care about, because you know, I do this for you guys, so I want to do what you want to see. Until next time, bye.